What if I told you that you can literally believe nothing on social media? Not even this video. You see, social media content is not regulated. Broadcast news previously was heavily regulated by the FCC, Federal Communications Commission. Social media has never had a regulatory body addressing it. I could sit here and tell lies all day long and not suffer any consequences for it. And a lot of channels do. Zero sugar, dirty Mountain Dew Zero. Not bad. But anyhow, this isn't like the NFL out here. You don't have a commissioner handing down fines to social media content creators for not telling the truth. You don't have the FCC handing down fines for broadcasting false information. The only way a social media content creator can ever be held accountable for telling a lie is through federal libel or slander laws. And the bar for proving that in a court of law is extremely high and always has been. So I can sit here right now and announce to you all that the sun is blue, and there's not an agency out there handing down a fine saying, hey, look, that's going to be a $500 fine for telling a lie on social media. Nope. We don't have a Roger Goodell type assessing fines or handing down sanctions. We don't have a United Nations out here handing out sanctions to people who make content on social media. With that said, the fact checking is up to you. I do the best I can with the information that I present out here. Although I'm pretty sure I'm probably not always 100% right, but I do the best I can with fact checking. I do use a lot of resources in order to find this information, particularly about the World War II stuff. The statistics and things like that I have fact checked to the best of my ability with reliable resources to get that information, particularly in regards to fatalities and casualty figures and things like that, and historical figures and dates as well. VE Day and the dates of the respective surrenders fall in this category as well. The court judgments handed down at Nuremberg is another one where I've used various resources to determine exactly what was doled out. However, we do not have that type of a court in social media at all. So the fact checking is up to you, and I highly recommend you do it because then you can find out what kind of sources out there are really telling the truth and which ones are not. And believe you me, there's a lot of liars out there because they have an agenda. Everybody's got an agenda of some sort. Now, the What If I Told You doesn't necessarily have an agenda, but I do have interesting facts I do present. And that's kind of the appeal of this stuff. But I don't have an agenda to try to make you think any specific way in that regard. I do make mention of when things are my opinion, such as the whole personal performance improvement plan and HR situations within corporate America. I've relayed my own personal experiences on that and come to some conclusions based on the series of events, and I do explain that to the best of my ability. You know, none of those are ever presented as absolute fact. But if somebody is presenting something out there as absolute fact, go out there and do your research. That's my suggestion. You need to go out there and take your time and research these things and make sure that they're true. Because ain't nobody else going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. The FCC does not police social media like it has traditionally with broadcast news. If you do find somebody has, libel or slandered you or somebody that you know, then yeah, get an attorney. they can do discovery for you and research themselves. Of course, you got to pay for it. Lawyers don't work for free and never have. Lawyers get paid a lot of money to do this stuff. That much is a fact. You know, anybody who's ever dealt with being billed by a lawyer who's watching this can tell you in the comments. They get paid handsomely to research this and present cases if you're going to be presenting a libel or a slander case against somebody out here. Not making that one up. But you need to, again, the fact checking is up to you. Please do it. You can fact check me all the time. If you ever do have an issue with any of my commentary, facts, numbers, or date timelines of events, particularly in war history, feel free to drop a comment. Please do. I'm more than happy to correct myself. I'm not above admitting I'm wrong. Especially if you can cite the source. That's even better. But anyhow, appreciate anybody who's watched this to the end and watched my videos. I do this because I enjoy it. I don't ever really expect to be monetized for it. But for the time being, it does keep me busy while I'm searching for a job, which also keeps me busy. But fact check me, drop a comment, let me know. And until then, for the next episode, peace out, homies.